this is the last section of 1.8, part 3. So here we're going to look at starting to write some equations. So like we did in the previous section where we translated sentences and phrases into equations or expressions, we're going to take our word problem and we're going to write equations. Okay, so question number 1. You joined an aerobics class at the local gym. The cost is $3 per class plus $10 for the initial membership fee. So again, like our story problems, I'm going to think about it. Okay, if I was there, how much would it cost if I had one class? Well, one class would be $3 plus the $10 for the initial fee, so it ended up being $13. If I took 2 classes, well then I'd have 3 times 2, which would be 6, plus the $10 for the initial fee, so it'd be $16 total. Okay, so now I'm starting to see the relationship in my mind. Let's write the equation. Okay, this sentence here is going to help us write our equation. Number 11 wants us to write an equation that shows the relationship between the number of classes, N, okay, it's telling us the letter to use, and the amount you pay, P. So we're not going to use X and Y here, we're going to use the letters that it wants us to use, which is N and P. Alright, so let's start at the beginning of our sentence. It says, the cost. Okay? The cost is going to be what I pay. That's going to be P. My next part is the word is. Okay? Is my equal sign. Next part, $3 per class. So, do I know how many classes I'm taking? No, but it tells me here. We're going to use N for our classes. So we're going to write 3N. Because remember, if I had one class, I'd take 3 times 1. If I did 2 classes, I'd take 3 times 2. And next part, let's see. We have the word plus. So plus. This again. $10 for the initial membership fee. So plus 10. Okay, so here's our equation. The cost, P, is $3 per class plus the initial fee of $10. Number 12 asks us to evaluate the equation for 1, 2, 5, 8, and 10. And it wants us to organize the results in a table. To save a little bit of time here, we're just going to do 1, 2, and 5. That should give you enough idea on how to start this. So our table, remember you could put input output, but I'm going to put, oops, not X and Y. We're going to use N and P because those are the letters they gave us. So we're going to use 1, 2, and 5. So again, the same process for making the table. We're going to plug in for N each number that we have. So my first one is 1. So 3 times 1 plus 10. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 10 would be 13. So I'm going to write 13 here, which is what I said originally. If I did one class, it'd cost me $13. Next one, we're going to plug in 2. So 3 times 2 is 6 plus 10 gives me 16. Okay, again, what I thought originally before I started any of this. 2 classes would cost me $16. And our last one here, we're going to plug in 5. So 3 times 5 is 15 plus 10, 25. Let's look at the next problem here. Give you one more example. When the monarch butterfly is migrating to the south, it has an average speed of 80 miles per day. So 13 wants us to write an equation that shows the relationship between the number of days, T, and the distance it has traveled, D. So again, I'm seeing a couple things. I'm seeing speed, which is rate. Okay? I'm seeing distance, D. I'm seeing days, okay, which would be my time. So I'm seeing the equation distance equals rate times time. Because I have a distance, a rate, letter D. So D equals my rate. Okay, my rate is here, is 80 miles per day. So we're going to write 80. My time, again, I don't know that either, but it tells us we're going to use the letter T. So we're going to write T. So here's my equation. D equals 80T. So again, it wants us to evaluate the equation for 2, 5, 8, and 10. And we're going to put the results in a table. Again, let's just do the first three here to show you what we're looking for. So we're going to use our T-chart. And we're going to use T and D. And we're going to use 2, 5, and 8 for, oops, that didn't work at all. 2, 5, and 8 for our T values. So again, we're going to take out our T in our equation, and we're going to put in each of these numbers. So first one, we put in 2. 80 times 2 is 160. So we put that next to 2. Now we do our 5, so 80 times 5 is going to give us 400. We're going to put 400 in here. Right, and our next one would be putting in 8. So 80 times 8, which would give me 640. So this last section here is kind of putting together everything we've done so far in the chapter. Changing sentences into equations, using our distance equals rate times time equation, making tables, solving story problems. A little bit of everything's in this last section. So now that we're done, I need you to stop. We're going to do section 1.8, check point 3.